Nearpod is a website and app-based digital tool that lets teachers create slide-based learning resources that are interactive for students to engage with and learn from. Nearpod can also use gamification of information to make learning more engaging and fun. It is also built to work with lots of pre-existing tools such as PhET simulators, Sway, PowerPoint, and YouTube. Nearpod works in a number of ways to support teacher-led classroom, student-led remote learning, and a single screen-led presentation teaching mode. I created my teacher-led lesson on the water cycle to meet the science standard S4E3. Obtain, evaluate, and communicate information to demonstrate the water cycle, and the ITSE standard 1.1c. Students use technology to seek feedback that informs and improves their practice to demonstrate their learning in a variety of ways. The student goal for this lessons are to name, explain the stages of the water cycle, and to explain the water cycle moves in continuous cycle. Students will analyze what form does water takes on our earth and what happens to it on a daily basis. My hook for the lesson is an interactive discoverwater.org in which students will click on a spinning earth and note whether it lands on water or land. This will create a percentage for them. This is an awesome way for students to see why our earth is called the blue planet with an abundance of water. Students will collaborate with each other as they discuss how this reflects the actual percentage of water at Earth's surface. The next activity is a Nearpod video about the water cycle, with embedded questions to use as a formative teacher assessment, and to elicit more discussions and debates as students reflect on their learning and predict how the water cycle works for an individual water drop. Students will then go on a virtual field trip through the water cycle to learn more. Following that, they will take a formative assessment matching the multiple pathways water may take during the water cycle. The interactive activity that follows allows students to become a water drop. They will learn about each stage of the water cycle and the scientists who studied each stage. Students will answer questions about their learning as they travel through the water cycle as a water droplet. Students will debate and discuss where they think the water lasts the longest and why. The glaciers, oceans, lakes, rivers, soil, groundwater, or atmosphere. This is followed by Time to Climb, a game like learning activity that increases engagement with friendly classroom competition while assessing student learning. Finally, students will show what they have learned through a flip assessment. Students will draw a picture of the water cycle. They must pretend that they are the water drop and explain through their trip through the water cycle. Videos will be posted and students will have the opportunity to view each other's work and comments. Students will join the Nearpod by inputting the join code on their iPad. This will be a teacher-led, so the teacher can monitor students and provide assistance if needed. Audio is also included throughout the lesson to further student understanding. Students will complete the lesson by creating a flip on their journey of the water cycle. This will show that student understands that the water cycle is cyclical and has different stages. Planning and designing this lesson showed me that how easy it was to create an engaging multimedia lesson that could not only capture students' interest but also be used as to assess student understanding of the standards.